Hello, my name is Dan Lahane. Thank you for attending our corporate overview today. The very first thing that I'd like to do is explain these two different logos that we have on the page. The first logo is Family Heritage, and the second one is Charge Financial Group. So Family Heritage is a supplemental health insurance company. And so what that means is, well, your regular major medical health insurance is designed to pay the doctors and the hospitals and like the medical charges. The problem is that when something catastrophic happens, something like cancer or a heart attack or even a bad accident, there's a lot of other expenses that your major medical health insurance won't pay for. And so what Family Heritage does is they pay money directly to the family if something catastrophic happens. And that person or family gets to use that money on those expenses that they incur, or they can use the money on whatever they need to. Now, Family Heritage does absolutely everything for Charge Financial Group. Charge Financial Group is my company, and I'll tell you more about us in a moment. But Family Heritage does all the accounting work, all the customer service and claims work, all the marketing information. But the one thing that they don't do any of is they don't have any salespeople that work directly for the company. They actually rely on companies like Charge Financial Group to do the selling for them. And Charge Financial Group is one of about 50 companies that represent Family Heritage. Now, our area that Charge Financial Group handles is the Houston area. And so our territory ranges all the way from Livingston, Texas, all the way down to Galveston, Texas, and from Port Lavaca, Texas, all the way over to Beaumont, Texas. So it's a pretty big footprint, but there's other companies that represent Family Heritage across the United States, from San Antonio to Austin to Chicago to all over Ohio and Illinois and all over the country. So, but Charge Financial Group is focused here in the Houston area. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself as well. My name is Dan Lahane. I'm the founder and owner of Charge Financial Group. I actually have been married for 25 years to my wife, Jennifer. We have 4 beautiful children that range from 19 years of age all the way down to 10 years old. I went to Texas Tech University and graduated with a degree in business marketing. When I graduated Texas Tech, I actually took a sales job in the legal services industry. I worked for that company for 4 years and then decided that I'd like to start my own company. So I owned my own company for 15 years, and in 2011 I sold the company and found myself in the career market. So to make a long story short, I decided to come to work with Family Heritage, and Family Heritage is actually our parent company to my company, Charge Financial Group. So I was in your chair back in 2011 looking for a new career opportunity. When I was looking, I literally had no industry or related experience whatsoever. I literally had never done anything related to what I do now and what our company does now. But I obviously accepted the position, and we've been a growing agency ever since. So a little bit more about Charge Financial Group. Our vision of those 50 companies, our vision is to be the best company representing Family Heritage. The reason we exist is to help people reach their goals and dreams in life. We're expanding in the marketplace, and in order to facilitate our growth, we're looking to increase our leadership and our sales team. We currently have offices in the Woodlands, Texas, and Houston, Texas, on the west side of Houston, and then down in Pearland. Pearland is our newest office. We opened that office in January of 2017. Our plan is to continue to expand. We'd like to expand into Louisiana and then also into Dallas, Texas. Family Heritage, a little bit more about Family Heritage. Family Heritage was founded in 1989 by a gentleman named Howard Lewis. Howard is actually still with our company, but he actually sold his company in 2012 to a company called Torchmark. And Torchmark is a very large and old and rich insurance company. In fact, they own 5 insurance companies, and Family Heritage is one of those companies. Family Heritage is admitted into 49 states. What that means is that Family Heritage can sell insurance or protect families in every single state with the exception of New York State. And the reason why Howard didn't open up New York was because New York requires that you have a brick and mortar headquarters in New York in order to sell insurance in that state, and that was not part of his plan. Someday we may open up in New York, but for now, we're not allowed to sell insurance in New York, which doesn't affect me at all because we handle the Houston and expanding into Louisiana and Dallas area. Family Heritage is a financially sound company with over $1 billion in assets. One of the ways that you can rank every insurance company is through an independent company called AM Best. I have their logo on the top left-hand part of the screen, but AM Best's job is to rate insurance companies. There's really 2 things that they're looking for. Most importantly, they're looking for financial stability. That's the biggest weighted part of the analysis that they do. But the other thing that they're looking for is complaints. Complaints against the company, and it's the type of a complaint that a judge would hand out. In the 27 plus years that Family Heritage has been in business, we have had exactly 0 complaints. And so that with our financial strength has landed us with an A excellent rating from the AM Best, which is phenomenal. Another way that you can rate insurance companies, though, is through the Better Business Bureau. The Better Business Bureau gives Family Heritage an A+ rating, which is also phenomenal. One of the things that I enjoy most about Family Heritage is the fact that they have grown. Family Heritage has had a consistent growth rate since inception, over a decade worth of growth. And if you think about that, that's pretty impressive, especially considering in 2007 and 2008, a lot of companies did have to downsize or resize or lay people off. Here recently in Texas anyway, we've seen a lot of that in the oil and gas industry. But since Family Heritage has been in business, in fact, I'll reword that, Family Heritage has never laid anybody off. And for that matter, Charge Financial Group has never laid anybody off. So when you go to bed at night and you lay your head on the pillow, you know that your company is still going to be there the next day, which is a very secure feeling. So this corporate spotlight, this career overview is really all about you. I have these questions here that I'll read to you, but they're very rhetorical. But number 1, are you looking for a positive change in your career path? Do you have a significant passion for helping others? If you don't like working with people, well, then this probably wouldn't be the best opportunity for you. Are you capable of leading or learning to lead others? Do you feel like you're worth a significant income? Are you looking for a financially stable company? And finally, do you want more personal control over your career and over your growth? What we do, so Family Heritage provides supplemental policies, like I'd mentioned, to working families and to small business owners. Family Heritage offers a full line of products, including cancer, a cancer policy, heart attack and stroke, accident, a hospital, and an intensive care plan. All of these policies work exactly the same way, but our lead product, the one that we introduce ourselves with, is our cancer product. Why do you think that we introduce ourselves with our cancer product versus the accident plan or the heart plan? Well, there's really 2 reasons. The first is that everybody seems to know somebody that's had to go through cancer. In fact, If you went to the store today, the mall or the grocery store, and you asked the first 100 people that you saw, just random strangers, one simple question: who is the closest person to you that's ever had to go through cancer? If you ask that question to 100 strangers randomly, 90 of them will have a story for you. 90 of them will have a personal story of someone that they know that's had to go through cancer, whether it's one of their relatives, like a grandparent or a parent or an aunt or an uncle. It could be someone that they work with, someone from school, someone from church or the community. But somebody, 90% of the time, they'll know somebody that's had to go through cancer. So that's the first reason. The second reason is that cancer is very expensive. It's one of the most expensive diseases out there. And I think the reason why it's so darn expensive is because cancer can take a long time to fight. In fact, it's not unusual to fight cancer for several months or even years. And then sometimes once you've survived cancer and you're in remission, it comes back. And so it's a very expensive disease. But they all work exactly the same way. All the policies work exactly the same way. We've just chosen to introduce ourselves with the cancer policy. So that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today is our cancer policy. Now, don't worry, I'm not trying to sell you a policy, but I would like to give you a flavor of what it is that we represent. And so I'm going to do that by showing you just a brochure, just a snapshot of a brochure from the cancer policy. But before I do that, I want to show you the next slide, and that is that cancer is one of those diseases that's growing quickly. In fact, the American Cancer Society says that there'll be 1.6 million new cancer cases. 1.6 million new cancer cases. Now, the good news is that more than 6 out of 10 of the people that are diagnosed with cancer this year will survive cancer. The bad news is cancer is very expensive, totaling more than $226 billion in the United States. So we'll actually spend over $226 billion fighting cancer in 1 year. And the way that the $226 billion is broken out is in 2 different types of cost. We have the direct costs, and the direct costs are things you can see from the arrow, the doctor bills and the hospital charges. So the top portion of this triangle, the $103 billion, is designed to be covered by our health insurance. The problem is that the larger expense, the indirect cost, is not covered by our health insurance. It's things like lost income, your living expenses, travel to get your treatment, co-payments, deductibles, limitations, things that aren't covered. And so what most people have to do to pay for all of these indirect expenses is they have to pay for it out of their pocket. Because if the health insurance isn't paying for it, who's paying for it? Right? It's coming out of our pocket. And so what we found is that most people, the first thing they do is go into their savings and pay those expenses through their savings. When that's gone, we see people selling life insurance. We see them breaking into their 401ks. We see people refinancing their homes or even selling cars or personal property. The best way, though, to protect yourself from all these indirect expenses is with a supplemental coverage. And so that's why Family Heritage created this. It's called our Cancer Care Plus. Now, this brochure is just a copy of the brochure, and it has a lot of our benefits, not all of them, but a lot of the benefits there. And so I'm going to focus on that. You'll notice that there's different levels of coverage. So to the very far left is what it covers, and then the 2 columns on the right is how much it pays. So it covers the same things, it just covers different amounts. There's actually 4 different levels of coverage. I've just represented 2 here. But the reason why we like to have 4 different levels of coverage is for budget reasons. If you have a house that your mortgage is $5,000 per month, if you have to go through cancer and need help with lost income and whatnot, you're going to need a lot more than someone that may have a house note or rent of $500. So obviously the different levels, as you go up or down, the price goes up or down with it. So we just try to find what fits best into the budget of the customer. I always like to go over the the best one when I'm sitting down with somebody, because I've never met anybody that's ever had to go through cancer that wishes they had less insurance. But if the best doesn't fit in their budget, I'll explain to people how one of the other ones works and fit that into their budget. So the very first thing that happens, as soon as someone's diagnosed with any type of an internal cancer, there's a first occurrence benefit that's paid of $6,000. That money is deposited directly into the checking account or savings account of the customer, and they get to use that money however they choose. But what I think is really important here is that this comes before any of the treatment begins. So as soon as we have a pathology report, we take it and we deposit that $6,000 into their account. It's important for them to have that money early, because many times treatment won't begin until you meet with the business manager of the hospital and pay the deductible, or what the health insurance company is not going to pay for. So when you can walk up to them and say, how much do I owe you, and you have that $6,000 deposit, it makes a huge difference. Now, once treatment begins, all these other benefits kick in. The next one that I have highlighted here is the hospitalization benefit. So if someone has to stay in the hospital, we pay them $800 per day with no limit. So if someone had to stay in the hospital for 10 days, they would get $8,000. If they were there 100 days, it'd be $80,000. And it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. There's no limit. Surgery, it pays up to $24,000 per surgery with no limit on the amount of surgeries that one could have. It ranges between $480,000 and $24,000. So like a skin cancer, a very simple surgery would be the $480. But if it was something invasive, like a colon surgery or a prostate or breast surgeries, then it would be closer to the $24,000. Radiation and chemotherapy treatment seems to be one of the most common ways to treat cancer. We pay $480 per treatment with no lifetime limit. Now you have to remember, your health insurance company is paying the doctor or the hospital for this radiation or chemotherapy. The $480 is used to pay for groceries or to pay for parking, or they can pay for it whatever they need the money for, they can use it for. And each one of the benefits stacks on top of each other. Now, where you're treated for cancer can play a huge role in the survival rate. In Houston, we're very fortunate to have some of the most renowned hospitals in the world. MD Anderson's one that pops into my mind, but there's people literally right now flying in from all over the world to have their cancer treatment done at MD Anderson. Now, there's others around the country that are just as renowned. St. Jude in Memphis, Tennessee. I understand that they have over a 90% cure rate for many of the children's cancers. Sloan Kettering in New York, or the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, or Johns Hopkins, and many other world-renowned facilities. And your health insurance company will pay for any one of these hospitals. But if your chances are just 10% better at surviving going to another specialized hospital, why wouldn't you go? Well, the reason why people don't go is because it doesn't fit into their budget. So Family Heritage actually will pay them $2,500 per round trip airfare. They send the patient and also a family member to go with them. So it's $5,000 that they can use for airfare. Now, God forbid, if it's one of our children that has to go through cancer, they're going to send the child as the patient and then both parents, so $7,500 worth of round trip airfare. And then when you're there, they give you $200 per day to take care of your lodging. So a hotel or some sort of a lodging benefit at $200 per day. Now, people really refer to that one as the peace of mind benefit, just because it gives you that peace of mind knowing you go wherever you want to go versus what might fit in the budget. But what do you guys like most about it so far? Is it that it covers so many different things, or that it's actually paid directly to you? Well, usually when I ask that question, people say one or the other, but oftentimes they'll say, well, both. I like both of those. And it does cover a lot of things. It seems like they've thought of everything. But I really love the fact that it's paid directly to me because nobody knows how to spend my money better than I know how to spend my money. So if I have that decision that I have to make of I need to either pay the anesthesiologist for his portion of the bill, or I'm going to put food on the table. I just really feel like it's important that I get to make that decision, not the insurance company. And so I think people really like that also. But what really separates Family Heritage from everybody else in the market is the fact that it's a built-in return of premium benefit. And so you're paid if you have a claim or if you're well. So the way that works is we actually return your premium after 25 years or at age 65, whichever comes first. So I know that probably makes sense, but let me explain it a little bit more. If you're 25 when you enroll in one of our programs, you get all of your money back when you turn 50, because that's 25 years. However, if you were 55 when you signed up for it, well, then you get all your money back in 10 years because that's when you turn 65. So there's three examples of what could happen. Number one is you stay healthy. Nobody buys this wanting to use it, right? Nobody gets cancer insurance hoping that they get to use it someday. This is the one thing we buy, we hope we never get to use. But for us, it makes sense because let's say over that time frame, you put in $25,000 and you didn't use any of it. Well, then you get all $25,000 back. Isn't that awesome? The other thing that could happen is you could have a small claim, maybe a small skin cancer that didn't take very much, and we ended up paying you $5,000. It's your money, so now instead of getting all $25,000 back at the end, you'll get the difference back, so you'll get $20,000 back. Of course, like many of my customers have had to do, there's large claims, and so say you put in $25,000 and we paid you $65,000. Well, you're not going to get any money back, but you got to use the insurance when you needed it the most. So, pretty cool. So just a summary of the benefits. Benefits paid directly to you. You decide how to spend them. The policy's benefits are never reduced. It's guaranteed renewable for life. The only person that could ever cancel this is you. It pays in addition to any other insurance that you already own. Your premiums do not increase with age or due to claims. In fact, Family Heritage has never raised a rate on an existing customer. And finally, the policy has no cap on amount of benefits you receive or the number of claims that you have. So just about every single person that I've ever shown this to thinks it's a phenomenal plan. But at this point, usually everybody thinks that they say, Dan, this is great, but it also sounds very expensive. And I think the reason people feel like it's going to be so expensive is because health insurance has gotten so darn expensive over the last 10 or 15 years. In fact, from what I understand, both from me personally paying for my insurance and also talking to a bunch of people about this, is that on average, it's usually somewhere between $150 and $250 per month per person on the plan, right? So if you have a family of 4, most people are paying somewhere between $600 and $900 per month. And so since we have no deductibles, no co-payments, no limits, the price never increases, it'll pay up to $30,000 per month. People think this will be at least $600, $700, $800 a month as well, but it's not. Actually, our average policy is only $83 per month. That's not bad, is it? So now that's a little bit about our products. The next thing that I want to talk to you about is our compensation. Now, trust me when I tell you this, I would totally do this job for free. I love it. I love helping people, and I love what our product does for families. But unfortunately, my kids developed this horrible habit when they were younger, and it's called eating. So I do have to get paid to do it. And so I want to talk to you about that. Before I jump into the compensation, I just want to go over a couple other things with you. I have a question that I'm going to ask you, and there's no right or wrong answer on this question, but the way that we market our product is we show it to small business owners, and it's really a referral-based marketing strategy that I'm going to get to in detail later in our interview process. But our goal is to show this to 6 people a day. We work 5 days a week, about 40 hours a week. And so our goal is to show this policy or policies to 6 people per day. So my question is from what I just went over with you, if you showed this to 6 total strangers, of those 6, how many would say, yes, sign me up? Now, there's no right or wrong answer there. But I will tell you that I've had days where I've showed it to 6 people and had all 6 of them get it. I've also had days where I showed it to 6 people and none of them got it. In fact, if those days happen, when I get home that evening, I take all my clothes off and go to the backyard and burn those clothes. I'm just kidding, but I've actually had just as many days where everybody's gotten it as I've had where nobody's gotten it. But there's really only 2 reasons people say no. There's only 2 reasons why people don't enroll in this program. The first reason is, well, they can't afford it. Even though our entry-level plan may only be $30 per month, they've already cut their date night, so they're not going on dates anymore. They've cut their cable bill down just to the basic cable, the internet. And so they're already shrinking what they're spending, and to add anything to it just doesn't make sense to them. So when that happens, and it happens every now and then where people feel like they can't afford it, the way I handle that is I just give them one of my business cards and one of the marketing brochures that Family Heritage provides us. My goal when I'm meeting anybody is to leave them in a better mood than they were in before I got there. So if I leave them that information, someday when things get better, maybe they get their overtime back or what have you, then they can afford to budget this in, and I'm hopeful that they'll call. Also, this is a referral-based business, so I'm hoping that they'll refer me to people. So the only other reason people say no to enrolling in this program is because they just don't trust me. They'll say, Dan, this sounds great. It actually almost sounds too good to be true, which is fine. There's nothing I can do about that. I learned a long time ago that the harder I try to get someone to trust me when they don't trust me, the further away they are from trusting me. So I handle it very similar. I hand them one of my business cards and I give them one of the marketing brochures. And I actually want them to go research it. You see, remember back to the beginning of the presentation, what they'll do, if they research it, they'll find out that we have an A excellent rating with AM Best, that we have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. You can research it now also if you just go to Google and type in Family Heritage, and you'll learn all sorts of things. Of course, every company is going to have people that complain about one thing or another, right? Even Nordstrom's, the best shoe experience in the world, my wife tells me, even they have complaints. But what I want these people to do that are having a hard time with trust is I want them to research it. And I hope that they will call me back. And again, I hope that they'll refer me to their family and friends. So I've had days where everybody gets it. I've had days where none get it. But I will tell you that on average, for a person their first year in the business, and we're just looking at the history, on average, a new agent will sell 5 policies in a week. So about 1 a day. I wish I could tell you that our average agent also shows it to 30 people a week, but Maslow figured this out a long time ago. But anyway, just if you were just average, you can expect to sell 5 policies in a week. And so I want to show you how that works. So I already told you that the average first year person sells 5 policies per week. The average annual premium is $1,000 per year. That's $83 per month. We earn a 30% commission on that $1,000 or on the first year premium. When we make a sale, we just collect the first month's premium, the $83, and then Family Heritage collects it from that point forward. So if you were just average and you sold 5 policies per week, then that would be $5,000 in annual premium. If you did that every week of the month, then that would be $20,000 for the 4 weeks in the month. Since we earn 30% commission, that's a $6,000 earnings per month or $72,000 per year. Now, if you're like I was, that definitely wouldn't have been enough when I first started. So that's why I had to sell 2 policies per day, and in fact did so. There's people, and so in that case, you would make $144,000 if you were to sell 2 policies a day. If you were below average and only sold a policy every other day, well, then that would be closer to 40,000. But you can do the math. That's the first way we would get paid. We also are paid incentives. So there's bonuses, monthly bonuses from $500 a month to $5,000 per month with additional cash incentives throughout the year. We also have the opportunity to earn Torchmark stock by hitting certain benchmarks. You may have noticed that we only work 48 weeks during the year, and that's because we take 1 month off every year for travel and for training. There are 4 company trips per calendar year. This year, our company, now of those 4 trips, Family Heritage pays for 2 of them and Charge Financial Group pays for 2 of them. But the 2 Family Heritage trips this year are to Seattle and to Orlando. The 2 Charge Financial Group trips are to Victoria, British Columbia, and as of right now, to Cuba, although that may change depending on our relationship with Cuba at the time. But it'll be somewhere amazing. Since I've been with the company, just 5.5 years, my wife and I have been to London, England, Lisbon, Portugal. We've been to Florence and Rome, Italy. We've been to the Dominican Republic. We've been to so many places, I can't even remember them all. And it's just been phenomenal. And I'll just tell you that it really doesn't matter where we go that make these trips so great. It's who we're with that make the experience so awesome. Probably the biggest reason I decided to start my career with Family Heritage was because of this slide, and that's the residual income. You're in control of your earnings from day one with no limits. Renewal income begins in year 2, in the second year. When the customers start to pay on their 13th month is when you start to get your residual income. So if you take a look at this chart here with the dollar signs, year 1, you get the average $72,000 of new commissions. The second year, let's just assume that you don't get any better at this job, you don't work any harder, you don't work any smarter. Well, then you're still going to make that first year commission of $72,000, but above that is the renewal commission that you're going to have from the previous year's customers. And then in year 3, it's 2 previous years renewals and then the new commission. In year 5, it just keeps going. It's renewal income for life. You get paid every time a premium is collected. And what is really cool is that after 5 years of working with the company, working with Family Heritage, you're 100% vested in those renewals. And so what that means is if you decide to leave the company after 5 years, maybe decide to go join that rock and roll band that you've always wanted to be a part of, or open up a restaurant or become a chef or do whatever. If you leave the company after 5 years, you're 100% vested. And so you continue to get paid on the work that you did while with Family Heritage, even though you're not with Family Heritage anymore. Now, I'm not leaving, but if I were to leave the company, I would keep that money. And then if I passed away, all that money would go to my wife. If she passes away, it goes to the kids. So it stays in your estate as long as your customers are still Family Heritage customers. So it's a phenomenal retirement vehicle. It's the best opportunity in America. Let me tell you what I mean by that. So we offer a career roadmap. Our leadership track will provide training to accelerate your leadership skills from entry-level team leader to future agency owner. And you can see the path. The initial professional agent, everybody comes in as a professional agent, and that can last as long as you want it to. Obviously, some people want to just stay there forever, but most people that we're looking for want to advance. And so that amount of time is anywhere from 1 to 6 months. And then you progress, and we can go into more detail about that in future interviews. How do you become a part of our team at Charge Financial Group? Well, the qualities that we're looking for is, number one, a sincere desire to help people, to help others. Number two, a competitive spirit, self-driven, a desire to have a career, not just a job. For the right person, Charge Financial Group Family Heritage provides not only a path of success, but the tools and training to get there. The requirements, you do have to have a license. You have to have a license to be able to sell insurance, no matter what state you live in. So, we help you with this, though. It's, to me, it's similar to getting like a driver's license. So we have the online classes that we pay for and give it to you. So Charge Financial Group is investing in you to study. We also have a program and teach you how to study it. In fact, let me just sum it up this way. We do everything for you except for three things. We can't study for you, we can't get your fingerprints taken for you, and we can't pass the exam for you. Everything else we have a process behind and can do the application to the state for you and all the logistics. Okay, so once you're licensed, which the study class is about 40 hours. Once you're licensed, then we send you to our corporate sales training. It's called Sales Academy. The Sales Academy is there for really two things. Number one, the Sales Academy teaches you product knowledge. Now, I know you're already totally familiar with the cancer plan because of what I already shared with you. I'm kidding. They really go into detail about all the products and things like, what it pays, who it covers, maybe more importantly, who doesn't it cover. So it's a lot of product knowledge, but also, and equally important, is process knowledge. That's a great product, but who do I show it to? How do I find them? What am I going to say to them? What are they going to say back to me? So that's what we're teaching you in that Sales Academy. When you graduate from the Sales Academy, you feel very, very comfortable with what you're going to say and who you're going to say it to. The Sales Academy is actually in Dallas, Texas, and it's all paid for as well. So you don't have any expense. You do have to pay for your gas to put in your car to get there, but that's reimbursed later. So once you graduate from the Sales Academy, you come to one of our local offices and you're assigned a trainer. In fact, you're going to be assigned a trainer way before them, but you'll meet your trainer. And on Monday and Tuesday of that week, the only thing that you have to bring to work with you is a pen and paper, because you're going to go work with your trainer and just watch and just observe. But I can't tell you the confidence that it gives you when you can actually say the same things in your head that the trainer is actually saying to the prospective customer, and then watch the customer respond in a positive way and have it work. It gives you a lot of confidence knowing you can do the job. On Wednesday, we let you go work by yourself. We'll tell you the area and the territory and all the details of that. But we really want to give you a chance to go out on your own and just get the butterflies out. But on Thursday and Friday of that week, that same trainer is going to be with you, following you and helping you get your territory started. We've actually been recognized as having the best sales training program in the United States. The third week is also field training, and the process just repeats itself. Monday, Tuesday, you go watch. I found that Monday, Tuesday is usually the best training because now you know what to look for because you've done it on your own for a few days. Wednesday, you're on your own again. Thursday, Friday, that trainer comes back out, and we repeat that process until you feel very comfortable. Well, you're done with the corporate spotlight. Thanks again for attending. We're not going to make a decision on you until the final interview, and we really don't want you to make a decision on us until the final interview. What we're going to do is within 24 to 48 hours, we're going to give you a call and go over a few questions with you, and then we'll evaluate everybody and call back for one-on-one interviews in one of our local offices. But we're looking for a perfect match. We realize that this is not for everybody, and we also realize that we can't offer a position to everyone. So we're really looking for that perfect match. We're going to tell you everything about us, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we just expect the same in return. So I look forward to continuing the process with you, and once again, thank you for joining our corporate overview.